Okay, I don't know what's going on. I have reset my computer twice, my internet twice. It could simply be that this stream machine is on its last limb. The other machines that I've been working on, the other machine that I'm working on is nearly done. I couldn't get it to post last night. So I was struggling. I was irritated. Is it working? Is it working? Please tell me it's working. Okay. I don't know what was going on, to be honest with you. I think it might have been my internet or maybe Twitch, but everything just kept dropping over and over again. But my computer seemed fine. I was looking at everything, nothing was overburdened. There was no, like, RAM leaks or anything like that. So I was like, what's going on? But I reset my computer, reset my internet twice before it fixed it. So it could have just been my internet, or it could have been, I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry about that for the false start here. So it's probably Twitch, but then why would that affect all the other platforms? That's really weird, right? Oh well, it is what it is. I'm glad y'all can see me and hear me. Sometimes we just got to deal with technological woes and the way they are, Thank you. I mean, when the bread and the circus are a complete debacle, I'm sure people probably protest in their own ways, not to jump to any conclusions, but anyway, there has been a lot of DDoS attacks on major services. If you're seeing me, no, I wanted to honestly, my package hasn't arrived yet, so I thought I would have time to go grab it during all this while I was resetting my internet. Nope. By the way, again, sorry for the stream gremlins getting the best of us today. I did not plan on that happening. Never do. You know how it is. Just like when your car breaks down, you never expect it. Anyway, welcome back one and all to the Damn Stream. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. We had a little bit of a hiccup start today, but I think we're going to be okay for the rest of it. During today's stream, I would like to discuss and highlight arenas from the workshop. I found a few arena maps on the workshop today, and I think they're fantastic, but I also feel arenas are a great set piece and storytelling device for your campaigns. I'd love to discuss if you've used arenas in your past campaigns and how they were used, or how you might find ways to use them in your campaigns in the future. There's a lot of bones down there. Oh, Highland Lass, I'm glad you're here too. Honestly, the time change has messed up everything this last week a lot. And I haven't even had my time change yet. So we still have our daylight savings coming up in like a couple of weeks. So essentially, it will be weird for a few weeks and then kind of back to normal, I guess. But it is nice to have, y'all from across the pond here, what is an hour earlier for y'all, right? Because it's like 6 UTC right now, if I'm not mistaken. 6:20? That's a reasonable hour for y'all, isn't it? You made an arena a long time ago called Fighter Club. Is the only rule you don't talk about it? Tropism. Good morning to you, my friend. How you doing? Welcome back. 1920. So that's what, 7:20 p.m. You can't answer that, Tropism. That's the way. This is the way. Is that map on the workshop by chance? It's fine. Us weirdos that revolve our 12s twice a day instead of counting up to 24, right? Listen, I'm not in the military, so 24-hour clocks are not a normal thing for me here. Honestly, pretty much the only people who do 24-hour clocks in the US are military. So they call it military time. And then also people who do a lot of foreign business. Like, I keep track of foreign time zones because, and I understand military time because of my work. That's about it. Oh, it's wintertime tomorrow? See, daylight savings, I don't even know when it's going to be. I thought it was a couple weeks from now. Goodness. Oh, my D&D game's tomorrow, too. That's a good thing, right? See, for me, counting the times, I always felt like it was more convenient keeping the numbers smaller. Yes, the Switch. Thank you for keeping track of it for me, Atlam. Goodness, Wardian, you were very busy. What did you win for that bet? 1 second. Pant leg was all crunched up under my leg and it was weird. I had to adjust it. So nice to be back in normal clothes. Not that I didn't enjoy dressing up, but it just adds a whole extra level of complexity to the stream. Having to get ready before the stream and wear it during the stream. I might bring back Bob Ross occasionally throughout the year because it was kind of fun. Yeah, the injury was, I try to not remember that. But, you know, we all have rough days on stream. I didn't know that I could almost lose an eye on stream. Those goggles were retired after that stream. They've just been sitting in a pile of bags from all the costumes in the back of my room. Hazard pay, right? Almost became a pirate. Like I've been a pirate since my wee lad ages. Okay. So, have any of you used arenas in your campaigns? And if so, let's hear about it. Was it set up as an encounter? Were your players just trying to carouse some money and funds during their downtime? Was it a pivotal piece of plot for your characters to win in an arena? I've heard a lot of different stories around arenas, and I'd like to discuss them more. Those are barricades. Though many would call them palisades, they're labeled as barricade inside of Dungeon Alchemist. I also have uploaded a handful of palisades to the workshop. These were created by Mrs. Mac. And then I uploaded them to the workshop for people to use in their maps because I felt like we needed more options. We also have a singular pointed stick. It is... What is it? Spike. So if you search like Spike, there's a hand. I guess there's a few more than there used to be. These work for palisades as well. You should have these. They're stock item in Dungeon Alchemist. Oh, you mean you have my palisades? Yeah, those... Feel free to use them even in paid maps because they're Creative Commons. We shared them with the community so everyone can use them for their builds or whatever. As long as you're not using them for resale, they're perfectly fine. So no fighting pits at all or anything like that, Highland Lass? You know, arenas typically are indicative of death, Dyson. So your players played smart. And honestly, there's not too many players that run away nowadays. Almost everyone just fights, right? The runaway mentality has been lost on the modern D&D player, I feel like. It is a very small one. This creator made several arenas, actually, right? That were Palisade based. They made a small one, a medium, and a large one. I just loved them. So I thought, hey, the small one looks fun, you know? First and only time they fled, it was when it was how did they flee an arena is my question. Wouldn't you be like in the walls, either forced to fight usually or paid to fight? Like, how did they end up in an arena and then end up fleeing is my question. Yeah, they'd have to like teleport dimension door out or fly away, but you would think they'd have preventative measures for that. Archers or like a dome. I guess it could be a basic arena. Ah, I see, Dyson, I see. It was more of an open arena and they stumbled upon it, but they were being stalked by a devil who wanted to test their mettle. The devil that wanted to test your mettle. That actually is a pretty metal lyric there. By arranging a fight when they got there. The devil wanted to test my mettle. That's dope, actually, saying it out loud a few times. I used an arena, Wardian the Goblin says, I used an arena like the Colossus of Rome. It was a session 0. They were slaves escaping, and they used the mock naval battle they were part of and swung out like pirates into the stands when they noticed an opening in the stands. Oh, too funny. Did they just sit down and pretend they were watching? We were here the whole time, but where's your ticket stub? So let's talk more arenas on all the different chats. I'd love to hear what kind of shenanigans your players have gotten into in arenas or fighting pits. Apocalypse, thank you for liking the live. I like that name. That's really good play on your name. Hilarious. Awesome. So I found a few arenas on the workshop. I figured we could just check them all out. This one here is by Lord Rev. It's called the Battle Barge, which I found kind of unique because most arenas are typically like a circle or like, you know, like the Colosseum styles. So this map is available on the workshop. It's called Battle Barge Arena. And it's just simply a large wooden barge where people can sit and watch. I'd imagine it'd be kind of hard to escape a battle like this, as you'd probably in shark-infested waters. Simple map, nothing crazy to it. And it's a good space for people to battle, but not necessarily be able to run away. Huh. So it was first to 3, right? Interesting tropism. Interesting indeed. You know, there's one very popular campaign that actually has a kind of arena setting as part of the gameplay's like storytelling. What is it in? In Tomb of Annihilation, they have that arena in Chult, right? In that big city there where they do the dinosaur races and stuff. Island Lass, what are you playing right now? You playing Red Dead? That seems to be the game you always play, so I figured that out. Yeah, you could add some sharks in the water here, or even like other cool creatures. One of them did. He looks like International Waters monkey knife fight. Oh gosh. Some shady things happen in International Waters, right, Tropism? One of them did. He was playing a bard-like character class and convinced the crowd to hide him. A plebeian draped their cloak over them, and others pointed in the opposite direction, told the arenas he went that way. Two others fought their way out and ran, and the last ran on top of the audience's heads to escape. Oh, hilarious. I love it when the players make it entertaining when they do that stuff. Water-based arena could be interesting, yeah, for sure. Fleeing would be definitely problematic in a situation like this. Would your players try to flee a water-based arena, or would they stay and fight? You know, one thing I'd like to add to arenas, not every time you're in an arena, you're not always forced to be there. There is the carousing rules from, is it Xanathar's Guide, I believe? That where you get like all the extra rules to make money as a player character, and you can go fight in like fighting pits and arenas for money. So, possible. Expedition 33, I've heard good things about that. I've heard really good things about that. Okay, so the only thing about my upcoming arena is I'm not sure about is what if they only have one person that wants to fight in that arena? You could force your players into the arena, like they're forced to by a decree, or maybe they need to test their mettle for a quest. Like someone hiring them wants to see how they'd be in the arena before sending them out on something. Alternatively, I mean, you can just force them. You are the DM after all. But I know when it comes to railroading, some players don't necessarily like it. Okay, so do they need to gain access to the upper palace for some reason? I'm assuming a quest needs them to be there, either for a contact to meet someone or get access there for something, steal something, whatever. Okay, if they need to see the queen, and this is clearly the only way to see the queen, you need to make an emphasis on that. This event will give you access to the queen's court if you win. Like, pretty straightforward. I mean, if they don't see the line, like the lantern you're hanging for them there, then you probably will have to use the bumper rails a bit and guide them. You know, they say in movie and TV and like when they're filming, they say hanging a lantern or writing is a phrase they use to guide the audience towards a conclusion, right? So whether it's, hey, you're giving them information about the scene they weren't priorly given in a quick sentence that informs them, or you're pointing them towards the storyline. Hey, Polaris, how you doing? Oh, Wardian, that's an interesting use to have a player kidnapped via the carousing rules. There are some weird things that can happen in the carousing table, huh? You can have like rivals show up and want to fight you. And which map are you talking about? This one here? Island Lass, is it this one or the previous one? I'm assuming you're meaning the barge. I use carousing rules to have one of my absent players kidnapped so I can run a one-shot rescue quest for the rest of the party without delaying the main narrative too much. Gotcha. The battle barge. My bad. Platform, big. It's just a bunch of platforms put together. These are all just objects. I believe this is from the workshop. Or no, this might be a stock object. I don't know. No, those are stock objects, it looks like. Yep. These. Yeah, if you hover over this, it's a tooltip. You hover over the copy button, it tells you the name of the object. The problem is that doesn't show where the name or where the object is all the time, so no worries. It's one of these. Didn't even know we had these, to be honest. Where are those stashed away? Oh, I guess they're right there in the wood platforms. Did y'all see the teaser that Carl shared the other day? Couple of teasers. One is where you select an object and it shows it in the menu. So you can pick an object, right? And then it'll highlight where it is in the menu through the asset picker. So like if you're like, where is this object? I don't know. You click it and it'll go right to the object in the menu. That's a very powerful tool. Especially in the Dungeon Alchemist UI. There was another video he dropped, but he didn't drop it in official content, which made me laugh. Because he doesn't really post enough to, like, remember all this stuff. But this video is very, very important. I think it should be called the asset finder, not the asset picker. It just sounds weird. But this is just testing, by the way, that they're working on in the background right now for the next update. That group is currently in a domain of dread I made up. I increased the tension on them by increasing the number they can fail on with a d20 by 1 every 30 minutes of set. We do 4-hour sessions, so by the last half hour they can fail on a roll of 1 to 8. Goodness. That's brutal, Wardian. That is brutal. I think it's all axes. If you notice, there was little arrows on all the axes. You can already rotate, right? And then you can raise and lower, but then this will add the other it should be able to at least allow you to rotate on any axis. I mean, we could change the water to any liquid we want, really. That's the cool thing about Dungeon Alchemist maps. Yeah, this one gives off Colosseum vibes for sure. It's a very interesting design, to say the least. And it's also got like substructure beneath all of this. If you look around, there is actually like cells and vendors and bathrooms and food areas and a little bit of everything. My only critique of this map is based on the detail of the exterior. I would like a little bit more in the arena. Add some bones, some weapons, some more, like some piles of dirt, just random detritus, you know, little stuff. Seems too clean. Like this is their first battle. Right? Where's the blood? You know, Wardian, the color filter does help quite a bit to make it feel underwater. There's quite a few maps that have pulled it off. And there's also fish on the workshop that lend to that quite a bit, including animated fish. In fact, just like a month ago, Highland Lass shared a map during the Dam Challenge that was based as like an underwater map for Finfolk. And it pulled it off rather well. That being said, it is kind of tricky to do just right between lighting and or actually submerging things in water. I bet I'm probably the worst at parties, actually. I'm the guy looking to hang out with your dog because I find the party boring. There's quite a few different fish on the workshop that are great. This school of fish is animated. They're great. These koi fish are great for ponds. Got a bunch of different fish on the workshop. Thank you to all the contributors who share them. Even some sharks. But this group right here is pretty good. And remember, Wardian, you also have the asset importer. So if you have access to 3D files or can create your own or, you know, can purchase them or can source Creative Commons files, then you can import them to your builds. You can fill a room halfway. Yes, I'll show you. Goonie the Clown, can you judge an asset I made? Is it on the workshop? Is it up on the workshop? I'll pull it up right now. Spell this right. This one here. Dang. Just place it in the arena. It's probably good fit. It is invisible at the moment. I'm not seeing anything. Interesting. I see a preview. Have you tried placing this object on any maps yet? Oh, there. How big is this asset? $55. So one thing you may want to do is decimate it a bit so it's smaller. A 55 megabyte asset, just a quick bit of info. The average Dungeon Alchemist map is like 5 to 10 megabytes. So this map is 10 times bigger than the average Dungeon Alchemist map, just the asset. It looks good. It's really detailed, but you might be able to decimate it a bit and still get away with the same thing. Ooh, gross. Just letting you know, assets that are that large can take a long time to load and can decrease your performance in Dungeon Alchemist. Make him large there, see what he's all about. This is unsettling for sure. Almost like a biblical depiction of an angel or something, or a demon. And it's not a bad thing. Like, if it's just for your personal use, it's fine. But keep in mind, the smaller the asset is, the better it is for someone to download and use later. It's the smoother your maps will run. So if you could get away with even decimating this by, say, even half, or getting it down to like a third of its size, it would be so much better for anyone downloading it on the workshop. Problem nowadays is if you download a map without assets, it often is empty because people use them so heavily in their builds. If I have a map that fails, I'll usually try again and again. Sometimes it's the workshop failing or Steam more than anything, but yeah. The Warning and the Goblin must be able to be loaded into Roll20. Man, I wish Roll20 would increase their size requirements or their size restrictions. They did an upgrade in like the last year, but it was just not enough. They're really not even like, it's like not as much as their competitors. Yeah. Like I love Roll20 as a service. I love how easy it is to use. I use it as a player. I love it. But I hate that as a DM, their file size limits are so minuscule. They are a great service. They have their built-in, everything's built in and online, and you don't need to, it's super straightforward, but they lack that. They need some serious servers to store, give people some, or allow us to subscribe and upload much larger maps. Like, that would solve a lot of problems in our community for animated maps, particularly, because a lot of people want to do animated maps on Roll20, but their file size limit is like 20 megabytes or something, last I checked. Acid Rain, what up? How you doing? Welcome back. Wait, have you been here before? I recognize that name. I feel like you've been here before. Maybe it's just another Acid Rain. But if you look under back to this arena, if you look under the infrastructure, you can see, cells, little fighting training areas, weapon racks. It looks like it's definitely set up. A little blacksmith area, forge for, long-term. Ooh, little green room here. Looks very nice. How you doing, Acid Rain? What you been up to as of late? Yeah, Roll20 is a great tool for sure. I've got no problems with it other than their file size restrictions. Wish they were a little bit bigger. So far during the stream, as we've discussed arenas, we've had people discuss how they're using the arena as a mechanism to allow their players to potentially earn a token to gain access to royalty, i.e. the queen. They've started in arenas as starters and had to escape, doing some shenanigans in the process, jumping into the crowd and escaping. What other, have you put your players into fighting pits or arenas? If you have, I'd love to hear about it. What did they do? How did it turn out? We also had a group of players that fled an arena because they had a choice to. You called yours a stadium? You know what? Let's search up. Is yours on the workshop? Oh, it's okay if you call it a game. Honestly, I think to some people it is a game. You know, it's very relaxing and fun, cathartic, satisfying. You know, to some people it's a game. To some people it's an art, like an art tool, and to others it's just a tool in their belt for DMing. You know what I mean? So I definitely can see Dungeon Alchemist as an artistic or gaming tool. Actually had a streamer over, told them about your game. He's not too famous, but he does like indies. He also does okay in D&D. That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Word of mouth is primarily our main like method of advertisement at the moment. When y'all are playing and telling your players, hey, I use Dungeon Alchemist, or your friends and family and your DM friends and GM friends, you're like, hey, I use Dungeon Alchemist. We hope that when you have conversations about map making tools, which probably isn't often, that you share our name with others. I feel like that's like Microsoft when they used to send those surveys and they'd be like, how often do you tell your friends and family about Microsoft Windows? Like, I don't really talk to them about that, so never. It depends on the people you're talking to, I guess. Oh, that's really cool, Dyson. His name was Pepperbrain, I think. Okay, cool. Interesting name. Oh my goodness. I remember this one when you were doing your like a letter for each theme. This one was really good. It's one of the stranger survey questions. Right, Wardian? Like, I was like, wait, I don't know, but I don't know how to answer this because mainly I don't go up to my friends and family and be like, have you seen the latest Windows? That seems like something you would talk about like at work if you were in IT, or maybe if you were a computer salesman. Pepperhead, is that his name? Okay. They honestly, it's ominous. It's in the middle of nowhere. I would be terrified by it as well. My player character is paranoid, right? He doesn't like to be in predicaments where he lacks control. And by that I mean, you know, bound or imprisoned or put into a fight that he didn't plan on happening. Like, he likes to assess all the situation and try to come up with a logical plan for it to try and get around it without people getting hurt or wasting resources. You know what? I should do that on Thanksgiving, actually, Shlomo. Just very robotic. So, what do you guys think about the latest Windows? It's better than politics at Thanksgiving, I guess. So, yes, we did have an update. It was the Room for Improvement update. After Fun with Objects 1 launched in July, we realized we needed to improve our AI to match all of this new goodness, all the new objects, multi-level, etc. And so we made a major overhaul to our AI in the way it generates rooms, and it also represents a lot of these new objects that were added in the last update. So it's kind of like a little pocket update, a little extra bonus update in the middle as we ease our way into fun with, hiccups. As we ease our way into Fun with Objects Part 2. See, that's the thing. Like, if I saw something like this just wandering around, my red flags would be going off. Like, this is in the middle of nowhere. There's no structure around it. And your players are in Chult, right, Dyson? Is this that campaign? From what I see, I'm excited. Yeah, definitely explore it. Explore it. One thing I recommend after a new update, go into this section here, into objects, and look at new. You can sort by new and see all the latest objects. They put a good little chunk of objects in the latest update as well. What's your question? Ask away. That's what these streams are for. Dyson, definitely this arena gives me like unsettled vibes. I'm like, what is this all about? It's clean. There's nothing here. It seems almost ritualistic, like some super rich cult comes out here and makes poor people fight for entertainment because it's in the middle of nowhere, or it's part of an abandoned civilization that sank into the ground ages ago. Anything about it just sends up red flags, right? Wardian, that would be hilarious, right? Just at that moment, not saying anything or engaging in conversation, and then eating turkey and mashed potatoes, just sit up straight. Hey, everyone. Have you put any time to think about the latest Microsoft Windows update? Definitely keep it family friendly, Acid Rain, as this stream is designed to be, for everyone in our community of all ages. Jokes are okay as long as they're above board. You know what I mean? That being said, if you do have questions, the streams are hosted AMA format, which means ask me anything. So if you have any Dungeon Alchemist related inquiries, feel free. I just feel like stepping into this arena would trigger a trap and I'd have to fight like constructs or ethereal beasts until like I'm dead. So you definitely captured that feel with this arena lost to time in the middle of a jungle. Dyson definitely makes me uneasy. It makes my hair stand up just looking at it, and as a player, I'd be nervous for sure. I saw your video. Yeah, man. Sorry, the last couple days have been kind of crazy for me. I've been so busy with work-related stuff related to Infernozilla. And then in my personal life, I've had a lot going on in my spare time. So I've been just kind of spread a little thin, like too much butter spread over, or like not enough butter spread over too much bread. But I definitely saw your post. I have recordings of it. I will bring it up with the devs privately when I have a chance to, so they can look at it. It will reach the devs when I have a time to chat with them. That's the priority. Honestly, like, I kind of hate how busy I am lately, but I'm just adjusting to all of these changes in our workflow. We added a group to our team, and like, it's a big change in how we do social media and how we're addressing marketing and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm essentially adapting and working with this group, making sure everything's good. And let's just say it was a lot dropped on my lap unexpectedly. And so it takes some time to adapt and get used to the new workflow. essentially this team, I'm kind of just making sure they are on point with our brand and our vision and the way we, communicate with our community, and that the expectation that our community has around us and our product. Lots of changes, lots of adjustments. I'm happy to hear that you use this map in your campaign and that it freaked your players out. That makes me laugh so hard. What level are your players again? Dyson? No, the video isn't a lot of work, Anani. It's important. I want to share that with them, but I more wanted to share it with them when I had a meeting with them to show them hands-on instead of just give it to them and then may not see it. You know what I mean? So I really wanted to give that a more hands-on approach. Yeah, exactly. Instead of just dropping it in a chat thread where it may get missed. That being said, because my bosses are in Belgium, I don't have many face-to-face meetings. I've never even met them in person. I only have a meeting with them once a month. So I either need to wait until we're chatting about something and I can drop it to them and then it actually is noticed, or, just wait until they're not as super focused on something else. You go there yourself. You're closer than me, to be honest. But right now, one of my bosses is at a convention. So it's like every week there's something else going on. In fact, we're at the FAQs convention this week. Wim should be there. Oh, sorry about that, Acid Rain. I didn't see that up there. 1 second. So when you want to add a balcony like you see here, right? You essentially make your first floor, and then when you're on the floor you want to add a balcony to, you then go into the room tool and select balcony. Right? Here, let me make balcony rough stone. So in this case, you want to get on the level, you want to add the balcony. Right? Probably level 3. Balcony rough stone. That's my up there. Oh, I was on the wrong level, that's why. You can have rooms floating in midair, but it's kind of tricky to do. Using the balcony tool is usually the best way to make a balcony, but you can also use any room and just generate it without objects and doors and windows, and then change the walls to half walls to make any room type of balcony. So yeah, you would make sure that your building has a first floor, and then go up to the second floor, and then add the balcony on the second floor. Was it allowed you to do that, Shlomo? Hold on. Typically, your building has to be on the ground. They may have changed something, but at least recently you couldn't jump above until you had a floor or room on that level, right? So I can't jump up to floor 2 until I have a room on floor 1. Oh, I'm not that rude. I wouldn't do that. So once you have a floor 1, you can make a floor 2. So you likely had a room somewhere else on your map, and that's why you were able to. But what you do is you create a little dummy room to the side like I've just done, right? Cover it with a tree. And now you can build on the second level or even above that if you wanted. So this little space here, right? Now I'm up 2 levels, right? I could even go up higher if I wanted to. And then just kind of cover that with like a rock or a tree or something so it's not visible in your top down or any of your shots. Tree is okay, but a rock is probably the best, like a stone, right? Now I'm on the 3rd level. You also need to get rid of the roof it generates because it'll always make a random extra roof in the invisible rooms. Now over here, you can come over and just generate a room of any size or shape, or it'll be, 4 floors in the sky outside the grid. We'll make a tower. And now you have a floating tower. Oh, I just generated it without anything. And you could keep going up from this as much as you wanted. Remember, when you're generating a floor plan, you can move the floor plan before you generate it. So if you have a floor plan that you've drawn out, right? We'll come back. Remember this, well, I guess it can't be moved at this level. Huh. Can it only be moved on the ground level? Interesting. I did not know that. Hold on. So in the past, you could, well, I'm sorry. Spoke too soon. This floor plan can be moved on the ground level. I thought it could be moved at the air level, but I guess it's stuck. That's interesting. I did not realize that. That's frustrating, actually. I'm going to report that, too. Because you should be able to rotate this or do anything with it in the air, right? I wouldn't call this a feature so much as it's like a creative misuse of the program. That being said, I still think floor plans at any level should be able to be rotated. But I'm sure that'll come with time. Anyway, hopefully that solves that problem for a couple of people who are having issues. Acid Rain, I'm so confused. Do you need me to rewind or you got it? Down the wrong tube there. Oh my goodness. Hey, Cave Beast, welcome back. How you doing, buddy? Can I ask a favor of our Twitch viewers right now? I want to test something. For anyone watching on Twitch right now, could you just say anything in chat? Hi, hello, wave. I love Dungeon Alchemist, anything. I'm just trying to test something of the bot I'm using because it's showing 20 people watching, but the bot says there's only like 10. I was hoping that would like unstick it and push it up. Interesting. Yeah, in Twitch it says 16. On my bot it says 14, but shows 20. Anyway, hey, you know, it makes me happy that people are actually talking and saying hello too. Yeah, that number just went up. So Twitch, when you're lurking, doesn't count you as a viewer anymore, is kind of the speculation from a lot of different streamers. So essentially, Twitch has stopped counting lurkers as viewers when they're actively there, which is silly because plenty of people contribute by lurking on the stream without, you know, actively chatting. You may be working or may have nothing to say or may be shy or waiting for your time to ask something. Isn't that crazy how it just jumped up? Right? Y'all are busy map making. You're crafty cartographers. Too busy map making to chat, obviously. That is silly that it does that, but it is whatever. Interesting. It shows 20 for me now. On one, it shows 20, and on the other, it shows 14. That's interesting. My chat bot shows, it says 14 watching, but there's 20 in the feed. It shows the names, 20 people. I'm very confused by this. Oh, well. The thing is like, Twitch knows bots are present. Their stock calls can't survive unless they have bots watching. Like, their viewer numbers would drop too much because so many streamers use bots. Hey, Acid Rain, see you later. Hey, you're welcome back anytime, by the way. Same, Retro Noggin. I kind of like casually watch streams while I'm busy doing work. So it's frustrating that it would drop like that when, you know, whatever. But I don't care about those numbers that much. It's just frustrating for the average streamer, I'd imagine, you know? Honestly, we don't monetize this channel in any way, so that's not really an issue to me. You know what I mean? That's one nice thing about us not being like partnered or affiliated. You don't have to deal with ads on this channel. But a lot of streamers on Twitch use bots, right? A lot of them. Yeah, that makes sense, Wardian. But like, if you have friends or family watching at home, right? Or a second account that's a bot account, like my mod account, right? I also have the stream feed open twice, one for the the back end and one for the front end, so I can see it, see what you guys see how it looks, right? See you later, Acid Rain. Thank you for being here. You have a wonderful weekend as well. Back to the topic of arenas. Milo Hilltop, I was doing dishes, not a bot. I appreciate everyone saying hi to just see if it would jump the numbers, and it did almost immediately, which is silly. Not sure what I think about it, but it's good to know that regardless, we have your support. Everyone here that just popped in to say hello as I asked. Appreciate that. Yeah, immediately as people started talking, it just jumped up. But the thing is there's so many streamers that use bots because there's so many services that sell them for cheap and people think it'll give them a leg up. But man, it's so obvious when you go into a stream when there's bots. Our chat is constantly moving with different names, right? Different people talking. You go into a bot chat or a bot stream, they'll have 100 viewers and 3 people talking. And it's like, what the heck is going on here? It is very frustrating to see that, and those people amplify their numbers, you know, on social media, in streams, essentially cheating, you know. And like, I love organic growth. I think organic growth is the way to go on any platform. Actively communicating with your viewers, your subscribers, your followers, your community, chatting with them, getting to know them as people, understanding, you know, their needs, wants, and uses for Dungeon Alchemist, but also how they use it in their like campaign and how their players interact with it. Like, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, I'm not so much a like an advertising stream as it is a place to learn, get to know other GMs, and also like find a community. You know what I mean? So many. That's the nature of the game nowadays, and it's frustrating when you're just trying to grow organically and be like a normal person. So many companies will Wardian, that's frustrating, I'd bet. Maybe do goblins sell any good headphones? Are there any good goblin headphones? I'd imagine your ears make it difficult. I love this arena just right in the bottom of this castle's courtyard. Man, that's pretty morbid. They probably have fights there all the time. What kind of earbuds do you use, Wardian? Of course you can. We even have a category on Twitch for Dungeon Alchemist if you want to stream to it. I am streaming in the D&D category right now because it, you know, most people who play D&D use maps, so that's why I'm there. But we do actually have a Dungeon Alchemist category, and if you stream, you can actually promote the stream in our Discord in the self-promo channel. Anything you promote there has to be Dungeon Alchemist related, so if you're streaming Dungeon Alchemist map making, or a campaign with Dungeon Alchemist maps, or a Patreon with Dungeon Alchemist maps, can be shared there. So feel free. I left Twitch streams forever because the streamer didn't mute their mic when they were going to the toilet, and I can hear that they didn't wash their hands after. What? Oh my gosh. That's such a weird bit of Twitch lore that I didn't need to know. Hey, Acid Rain, you gotta start somewhere, you know? Retro Noggin, our Discord self-promo, as long as it's Dungeon Alchemist related, you can share it there. If it's a video series, tutorials on how to make maps, or a campaign with Dungeon Alchemist maps, or a choose your own adventure series with DA, as long as Dungeon Alchemist is part of the content, then it can be shared there. weird. My mic just muted. That is so weird. My mic just muted randomly. So what I was saying is that we have no problem with you sharing Dungeon Alchemist related content in our Discord, whether it's a stream, tutorial videos, campaigns. As long as Dungeon Alchemist is featured somewhere in that content, then it's fine. Canary, it was, I don't know what happened. My mic has a mute button on the top, and I might have bumped it when I was moving it. It's a touch sensitive mute button right on the, here, look. See right here where I'm pointing? If I touch that, it'll mute. Ready? So if I accidentally bump that while I'm moving my mic, muted. It's nice. It's really nice to have a physical mute that I can just quickly touch if there's an emergency or whatever, but it is also frustrating. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. I often forget that I'll like move it out of my face and bump it and mute it. And I'll be talking to my friends in a game for like 10 minutes and then they don't hear me. I'm like, what is going? Oh, I'm muted. It's me. I'm the problem. Why can no one hear me? I feel so invisible. Oh, I'm muted. Talk about a beautiful map with an arena fighting pit in it, though. Like, this castle's pretty dope. I'd want to go there just for, like, dinner, but I probably wouldn't want to stay there long. Dinner? Yeah, why not? I'm sure they have a big spread when they host. Come on, you can't have a castle this big and not have like a huge dining hall somewhere. Listen, even sadistic castle owners with fighting pits in their courtyard need to eat, okay? Blue Mage. Dude, I gotta say thank you. I tried those deep fried ravioli. Really good. Really good. I haven't checked the lower levels, so it's just fighting in dungeons. There's no accommodations whatsoever. Oh, it's just empty. It's like the castle in Willow. It just exists as a plot piece. No one lives here or uses it for defenses. Has anyone made a Rocky Horror map? You know, I'm not aware of anyone making one, but I would definitely check the workshop to see. I, you know, think it'd be interesting to see a Rocky Horror map. You know, my wife was recently rewatching that show. It's been memory hold, right? Because it's disappeared from Disney. A friend of mine had a copy and they said, hey, if you want to watch it, you can watch it. So we were watching it. And honestly, I thought the show had some potential if Disney hadn't canceled it and just deleted it from existence. That castle did come up, but their explanation for why no one was there was it was cursed, which makes sense. The last time anyone was there, everyone was all turned into pigs. Like, and there was like a crazy battle and like a massive troll. That being said, I do agree. It's funny that there's just like a huge Willow, yeah, Willow. So, it kind of the castle in Willow kind of reminds me of Helm's Deep a little bit. Like it's like a place they fall back to when they need defenses, not where they live and farm normally, right? Oh, it seemed like the lore was gonna be great. But yeah, Disney's execs like pulled the plug the second the show wasn't getting like Star Wars level views or Lord of the Rings level views. Did any of you watch the Willow show? Like, I was so hyped. I was excited for Willowverse because the Willow, like, fantasy realm is so unique and awkward and fun. I loved the show. I loved the movie, right? Growing up, it was a big staple in our home. And I, surprisingly, which is weird because my family was anti-fantasy. I don't know why Willow was allowed. Yes, cannot wait for dementia. We're all old, okay? We all admit it. We grew up watching Willow. We're old, okay? So I read the books growing up, right? The that and the Prydain Chronicles were actually pretty common in my family's home, right? That being said, yeah, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, those books both were allegories for like Christian religion to a lot of people, so I think that's why it was allowed in my home. Does that make sense? So, but anyway, yeah, true, true. My aunt and uncle, who are very religious, also very big fantasy nerds, love those books and insisted my parents let me read them as a young child. And that's what got me into, Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I was reading Black Cauldron and stuff like that when I was like 9, 8, because I loved reading. Like, I loved reading. But yeah, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prydain Chronicles, Lord of the Rings. You were there when it was written. But yeah, I would say any shows that had like a Christian allegorical background or could be taken as such were typically allowed. Things with witchcraft, though, were definitely usually not allowed. Like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, not allowed to watch it. My home was a weird place with awkward rules that changed from day to day. There was a year where my family stopped listening to like normal music and just started listening to country. That was the only music we could listen to in our home. Highland Lass, I was reading like a book a day in my prime in middle school. The librarian loved me. I'd come in during lunch, spend my entire lunch picking out a book for the day, and then I'd start reading it in my reading class that day, and then I'd take it home and read the whole thing before I went to bed because I was a latchkey kid, had nothing better to do than reading books or watching TV. Oh, trust me, Shlomo, I did. But like my parents would go on kicks where I'm assuming something was going wrong in their personal views or relationship. Maybe they were having a struggle, and now we had to like batten up the hatches and be much more religious at home. You know, nothing against religious people, but that growing up in a home like that was very weird and contradictory. Interesting, Canary Riot. I've never heard it called that, but that tracks. Like this arena by Anani, I saved the best for last because this one's pretty dope. You know, in this day and age, it makes sense, Anani. A lot of people are raised on like pop culture movies. You know, you'd probably be more common to find someone watching the movies than actually read the book. Some people don't even realize it's a book. I mean, there are people who don't know Lord of the Rings is based on books, or The Hobbit. I've been watching these trends on TikTok lately. I don't know if it's just like a virality thing and people are just making videos to be funny, or if it's real. They're saying a lot of young kids in school now, the pandemic, elementary kids are now getting into like middle school and high school, right? And a lot of them do not like tasks that involve excessive writing or reading. From what I'm seeing is they'll get a task and it's like, hey, write a paragraph about how this makes you feel. And they're like, do we have to do this? The other concern is, yeah, there's people who, you know, just like they'll be asked to read a single book and don't do it. So there's a lot of contention to teachers get like a lot of pushback when it comes to actually doing like actual schoolwork nowadays. Makes me worry. And then, you know, ChatGPT hallucinates half of what it summarizes to you. I do think in the coming years, being able to suss out what's AI and what's real being shown to you will actually be a very valuable skill. I know you're joking, Wardian, but it's like there's probably people who like are like that. You know, Joffrey, I appreciate the feedback. You know, Dungeon Alchemist was originally conceived as a fantasy map making tool, right? In the future, though, we have several major updates planned. We have 4 major updates remaining, in fact, after our next, after Fun with Objects Part 2 launches. We have Tricks and Traps, High Seas, Water Worlds, and Instant Dungeons. And that's in no particular order, but one of those High Seas is kind of open-ended to be like a ship builder and like oceanic, also air ships and likely astral ships. Keep in mind, we can't do specifically Spelljammer-based stuff, so we'll have to do our own stuff that is legally safe and loosely based off of it, if anything. So if anything, it'll be close representation, but not the actual thing. That being said, there's no time frame on this update when it will be launching, so it's kind of up in the air. It could be, you know, a year, it could be 2 years, but it is on our planned update list to eventually get to a point where we will be having a ship builder in Dungeon Alchemist, where you can build, hopefully, sea, air, and astral ship. It will be amazing when we reach that point, for sure. Dungeon Alchemist still has a lot of steam left in the tank, a lot of gas left in the tank before we hit the end of our development cycle. There's some talks internally about what our next steps may be. A lot of our community members want Dungeon Alchemist to be a play tool too, not just a map making tool, right? People want it to be a tool that helps facilitate gameplay like a virtual tabletop. So I think our next move, obviously we'll still keep developing Dungeon Alchemist, but I think we're going to start dipping our toes into pairing Dungeon Alchemist with the best possible BTT for it, one that we make in-house. I don't think there would be a better BTT that could be using Dungeon Alchemist than one we make ourselves, right? Well, we definitely aren't Hasbro. You know, when we commit to something, we put ourselves into it. And there's still lots that hasn't been decided yet. You know, I'll be honest with you. You know, Sigil was doomed almost from the start. You could tell Hasbro wasn't invested in it. They were kicking out their, you know, like cutting staff. 90% of their staff was cut like the first month the tool was out. I was not too sold on their commitment to the product. If anything, I thought they were just trying to disrupt and hope that they could, you know, step on other people's market share and do good, but they just didn't get the pull they were hoping to from their community. Likely, Chim. Sigil was a 3D map making tool and virtual tabletop developed by Hasbro that within the last year and a half was launched and canceled. It was canceled just this last week. And that's how little you knew about it. Hasbro did nothing to advertise or educate their community on this besides a handful of emails and social media. And it was essentially doomed from the start. Throwing money at a problem doesn't always solve it, though. You know what I mean? So, Lars, on our other chats, we're also talking about Sigil, right? And, you know, they're talking about the money thrown into it. There was $26 million initial investment thrown into Sigil by Hasbro. And then they essentially just kneecapped the project out the gate and then a year later canceled it. A lot of people asked me when it first came out if we're worried or concerned. I even had an interview with, was it Games Radar, about Sigil and our concerns about it. I wasn't concerned at all because I know Hasbro. They're too predictable. I kind of saw this from a mile away. If it didn't give them the immediate results they were hoping for, they were going to cancel it. Yeah, they could have paid me a third of that, and I still would have delivered just as much product as they had. The pandemic killed a lot of groups, but it also started an arms race in map making and virtual tabletop and DMing software in general. There's so many tools to help supplement a DM's, you know, flow and make it easier to run a campaign now. Dungeon Alchemist was just like the tip of the iceberg. There's so many tools now. I would say definitely one of the silver linings of the pandemic was how it allowed everything to be so remote. Remote gaming, remote work, etc. See, I don't believe that, Shlomo. If they were invested in it or cared about it, they would have let it fail for a long enough time to get traction. You know what I mean? A lot of times these companies are, the people working C-suite barely have an attention span of like a goldfish. And they're moving from project to project, things that make them look good and the people above them, but then if it fails, they want to sweep it under the rug and move on, right? They have the money to keep sustaining the project until it's a success. They just go for short-term gains. Yeah, feel free if you want to. Go for it. I kind of didn't, honestly, I didn't even think about linking it, but yeah, for sure. Let's get back to the topic at hand, which is arenas, though. When you look at this arena, does this look pretty brutal and unforgiving? It's definitely one of the most hardcore arenas we have on the workshop. We kind of have, seen the true colors of Hasbro the last few years. All of the, let's just say, drama around they're changing their licensing rules, sending Pinkertons after people they sent content to mistakenly. Like, it feels like canceling Sigil. Like, it feels like Hasbro just doesn't want to listen to their community, and all they care about is profit. And I understand they're a company, it's business, but at the same time, that profit comes from somewhere, right? All they care about is the dollar sign and the numbers attached to it, but not what makes it. Granted, Hasbro's biggest cash cow is Magic at the moment, but Magic also gets the care and attention it needs to be successful. There's not much room to move about with the fire constantly going, for sure. Is the Magic community not happy either? So they are cutting back in Magic too, even though it's their cash cow. See, I haven't bought Magic cards in like 2 decades. I have a massive box of them in my house from when I was a teenager. I spent way too much of my paychecks, every bit of my paychecks when I was younger, because I had nothing to spend money on. I'd go to the store and buy Magic cards. And then I had boxes of them, and I was not a fun Magic player. It made me an awful person. I don't play Magic anymore because I got too ragey, too insane. So I stopped playing Magic a long time ago. Man, one of my favorite cards, my most like old collectible cards that I'm still proud of owning to this day, is the Sliver Queen. Interesting. Is it because it's all digital that it's that way, or is it even with the physical cards? Interesting. Right? Like, didn't they just reprint like a Black Lotus and stuff, like in like these limited edition stuff? I used to have a Black Lotus when I was a kid. It was stolen from me. I have some really old cards in my collection. But yeah, Magic turns me into an evil beast. Yeah, I'll probably hold on to them someday, maybe sell them. Or just give them to my son. So the card shop I used to go to, the guy that owned it was a big card collector, right? So if you pulled any like foils in your card packs that were ones he was looking for, he would hook you up, right? So I remember I pulled a Hollow Joriel Empress of the Beasts. And this dude freaked out. Like, I knew he wanted it bad. He gave me 3 unsealed boxes of Magic the Gathering cards for this. And I ended up getting 3 more rare foils because of it, because each box had a rare foil, a gold rare. I think that was from Prophecy, is what it was called. The run of cards was Prophecy, Joriel, Empress of the Beasts. Oh, I've read about the One Ring card for sure. Man, I saw the video of the guy pulling it out and he was like shaking and stuff, and then he sold it to that rapper guy. What's his name? Yeah, Post Malone. That's it. That's the guy. Sorry, I don't know most like artist names nowadays. If it's someone I don't listen to, I don't know their name. Did we cover every arena I had on the list today? Awesome. I also had a hard time playing and collecting cards as a kid because my family was religious. So any of the black cards or the red cards, couldn't keep them. I'd have to keep them secret if I had them. Or my friends would hold them for me. As a result, though, I had crazy, crazy good white decks. Which are usually really difficult to play, and as a young child mastering white decks, I was actually really insane at the table. But yeah, a lot of my cards have also been banned over the years. Let's see, two of my favorite cards that I used to play a lot, one was called Nagetta the Lion. And it was a card that was a character that if you tapped it with a certain amount of mana, it would destroy all creatures on the map. I would love to play blue. But like most of the other colors were off limits to me because the artwork was usually risque. I also had a couple of Word of God cards in my deck, which were essentially Nagetta the Lion without a character. I know they're tied to a specific zone, but I just call them by their color. Part of me wants to go break out my collection and look at them. They're just sitting in a box downstairs collecting dust. But that was a different Mac. You remember my aunt saying she couldn't believe my parents, you know, honestly, like I was shocked my mom let me, but all my friends were doing it, and I think she just wanted to like let me feel included. So she went through and like literally every card audited it. And she's like, you can't keep this. You can't keep this. At first she was throwing them away. And I was like, Mom, I can trade them to my friends for other colors. She's like, okay. You played artifacts a lot? Honestly, playing artifacts only would be difficult. But dope. That's mad respect, Anani. I have a big artifact collection. Man, I have some old manas just lying around. My mom didn't care for collections. especially collections that I started with my father because they divorced and he had problems with him. So my dad and I, we used to go metal detecting and we would go find coins. And we went metal detecting pretty much every week for 10 years. And I found tons and tons of coins. Silver dollars, mercury dimes, you know, old pennies, old quarters, all sorts of coins, even coins from other countries in the United States. And I had them in boxes and bags in my closet, in my house, in my room. And my dad and my mom, when they were divorced, my dad got arrested because he was doing some shady stuff. Him and his friends started like a theft ring, and they break into like businesses and homes and steal things, high profile homes. They'd shut off their security system, break into their safes, take valuables that were one of a kind or only they had, rare volumes of books, you know, old money, jewelry. They break into ATMs and take the money out. My dad wasn't a good guy, okay? And when he was caught, my mom immediately assumed all of those were ill-gotten gains and that he was hiding them with me. And she turned them over to the police. And I pleaded with her. I begged. I know I dug these up myself, I said. I found them. These are mine. And she gave them away. And I kid you not, it probably would have put my son through college or paid for a home. Because there were so many coins. Just the silver value of the coins I had. I had like one of those big gallon zips full of mercury dimes. That thing would have been worth today, just the scrap value, just like thousands of dollars. Tens of thousands, 20s of thousands. It's frustrating. I feel like every chance I had to succeed in life was just, or like get ahead in life, was thrown away by my mother. In the US, dimes and dollars were made out of silver. In fact, many different coins were, and you can collect them and they hold their value in silver or scrap, but they also have a higher value to collectors. Mercury dimes and silver dollars particularly. Yeah, sharing my misery. It's whatever. I'm definitely proud of where I am today. I grew up like in a trailer park, and like, I don't know. I definitely I'm in a I don't know. I think I've made it, I feel like. You know what I mean? But at the same time, definitely having to claw your way out of like despair and debt is a pain. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing fun. No worries, Jim. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've started my own new collection nowadays with my son and my wife. It's just it's a rough memory, you know what I mean? It's trauma that'll always be there, regardless of how I. Like, I grew up on what you would call the rough side of the tracks, right? And my parents, you know, it's funny because like my mom used food stamps growing up and like WIC, but like she like hates when people use that stuff now. Like, what? I remember going to like, you know, like food kitchens to get a meal or to get, you know, like the church's storehouse to get extra food for that month. Anyway, sorry about my personal life there. I know I went off on a little tangent there. Apologize for that. But that being said, I do love that hard work can, pay off if you are diligent. You know what I mean? And that can relate in a lot of different ways, not just your day-to-day life, but practicing in your hobbies, or, whether it's DMing or, riding a bike or collecting coins. You get better with time. And I think being able to essentially find those hobbies and commit yourself to them is probably one of the best things you can do. As like, I feel like we're all trying to figure out what life is about and where we're supposed to go, right? Like, it's about family, friends, and enjoying what you love. That's my take on it. So if you have, good company and hobbies that you enjoy, and, you put time into and make something out of it, whether, you start and it's like, oh, I'm bad at this, but with time you become better, or whether it's like you just enjoy the mess you are of a person doing the thing you are doing. It's all about experience. Exactly, Canary, right? That's actually what I was getting to. Anyway, thank you everyone for attending the stream today. I enjoyed discussing arenas with you. We came across a lot of interesting, battle maps today that could be used in a variety of different settings. Discussed all the different ways that, your players might end up in arena. I hope today's session was helpful for you and can be helpful for your storytelling going forward. Thank you everyone for attending today's damn stream. Our next stream will be Map Maker Monday, which is this Monday, the 3rd. And tomorrow I have D&D, so hopefully we'll have some storytelling on the 3rd. It really is. Rebuilding with my son is, just taking it to the next level for sure. Yesh. Had you had said yeppers, I would have said, what did I say about yeppers, Wardian Goblin? But you said yesh instead, so you're safe. My new system hopefully will be up tonight. I was trying to get it to post yesterday until the wee hours of the morning, and I got super frustrated and took a break. I think something was just disconnected. So hopefully it'll be up and running by next stream. Shlomo, I'm located in Nevada currently. Dude, Anani, oh my gosh, we're getting into the minor boss and major BBEG of this dungeon, so it's possible. It is quite possible. Some serious... The delivery arrived earlier. My wife took care of it. She usually doesn't like to deal with packages, though, but she took care of it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad before we wrap up the stream. I appreciate you all so very, very much. See you next time I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. Bye.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this?
Okay, well, I won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive?
This map I have to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. I give a damn. Mac out.